Hello, this is D, and I'm back with another video. And honestly, tell you, I was going to bed, and this news story just kind of popped up on my feed, and it's a pretty big story. Now, the specs from the PlayStation 5 Pro apparently have leaked out via people getting their consoles early. Now, this is coming from either Brazil or Portugal. They apparently got their PlayStation 5 Pros early, and inside the console or on the side of the box, they have the specs. So let's go over the specs, and I gotta be honest with you guys, it's going to be a crazy video because fans are going crazy with this news, and I'm saying like detractors. They're having a field day with the specifications, even though the specifications are really good. And to be quite honest with you, a lot of gamers, they don't even understand what the specs mean. So today we're gonna break it down and we're gonna go over these specifications. Now, I gotta be honest with you guys, I have to wait till I get the PlayStation 5 Pro for myself and see the specs that are listed on the box. So we're gonna just take this at face value for what it is right now. And I gotta be honest, it does look legitimate, so I don't wanna say it doesn't look legit, but I'm gonna wait obviously until I get my own console to make my final decision on this. So let's just go based on what we can see here. Now, as we can see, it is x86 64 AMD Ryzen Zen 2, has 8 cores, 16 threads. The GPU is 16.7 T-flops. It says AMD Radeon, GDR6 16 gigabytes of VRAM is on it, and you have DDR5 2 gigabytes dedicated to the system. So right there you have 2 gigabytes that's dedicated to the system. So that means developers are gonna have access to the whole 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 for games. That is humongous. Now they have 2 terabyte SSD in there, which we all know, and you can see the rest of the specs, nothing really interesting there. Now the 16.7 T-flops of performance, fanboys are having a field day with it. Now, we're looking over here at Post Up. He says, wait, what happened to the 36 T-flops? Risk It for the Biscuit says the Pro is 16 T-flops for $700 with a laughing emoji. And as you can see, a lot of people, they're kind of, at it here in the thread. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I can understand them making jokes about it because it was said that the PlayStation 5 would be 33.5 T-flops of performance. Now, when we look at the leaked documents that came out from Sony, that Sony actually went after everybody for and got them pulled down, in those leaked documents, it said 33.5 T-flops of performance. So how do we get to this 16.7 T-flops? And it's gonna be really hilarious, so I hope you guys stick around for this entire video because we're really gonna break it down. Now, the first thing I want to discuss is RDNA 3, RDNA 2. Now, different architectures, their T-flops are measured differently. Now, each generation, they make changes to the CUs, they make changes to the command processors. There's different things that they're able to do. They become more efficient. So the T-flops, you can't compare them between different architectural generations. You just can't. So RDNA 2 12 T-flops will be lesser than RDNA 3 12 T-flops. Now, a lot of people are saying it has RDNA 1 on it. It's not even an upgrade from the regular PlayStation 5. That is completely false. Now, we're going to address this issue here right off the bat because Mark Cerny actually talked to CNET about this. And he said in an interview that the PlayStation 5 Pro, it actually pushed Radeon to include these features in their roadmap for their next GPUs. They said, in fact, the stuff that is in the PlayStation 5 Pro is not even on any AMD GPU that is in the market. So let's just look at what they said exactly here. Now, we have the article right up here. You can see it on the screen. Sony confirms PlayStation 5 Pro ray tracing comes from AMD's next generation RDNA 4 Radeon hardware. Sony also confirms that it pushed AMD to improve its ray tracing hardware, which is why the next generation of Radeon cards will feature big ray tracing upgrade. Now, Mark Cerny, in his own words, told CNET, the PlayStation 5 Pro uses the new advanced ray tracing feature set that AMD created as its next step in the roadmap architecture. But if you look around, there are no other AMD GPUs that use it yet. We motivated the development, and I'm very happy we did so. The response from developers has been extraordinarily great. So right there off the bat, you know that it's not using RDNA 1. Now, another reason why we know it's not using RDNA 1 is because it's on 5 nanometer. Another reason why we know it's at least RDNA 3 based is because of the leaks from Sony. They were using the metric that AMD uses for its RDNA 3 architecture because RDNA 2 can do more than one instruction per cycle. So instead of doing 1, it's doubling its T-flops. Now, when we add 16.7 T-flops, times it by 2, we get 33.4 teraflops. So right there, that's how we get to 33. But Sony, they're not interested in really boosting the T-flops. To Sony, T-flops aren't important. They've said that many times before, that T-flops aren't the measure of performance anymore. But the system is very capable. It can execute 2 instructions per cycle. That is pretty huge. Now let's read up a little bit on RDNA 3. RDNA 3 GPUs use a dual issue shader to improve the throughput, which allows them to execute 2 instructions per cycle. This is why RDNA 3 is considered T-flop dual issue. Now the problem with RDNA 3, I'm going to be honest with you guys, a lot of people didn't like that because it didn't always translate to that in game. So that is the theoretical peak performance. Sony said, forget that, we're just going to list the 6.7 T-flops. Now at the same time, it's RDNA 3 at the very minimum. So you know the T-flops, they're going to be more performant than RDNA 2. It's newer architecture. It has newer features that are just not possible on the Xbox Series X. It kind of is what it is. And so it's just unbelievable. Like, these are the same people that are telling you that the Xbox Series X is capable of machine learning AI upscaling like the PlayStation 5 Pro. And it just is not. In my last video, I showed you why that's not possible. They don't have enough compute performance. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a spoiler here, and I'm going to come back and do another video on this. But Digital Foundry addresses this. And it's going to be very interesting when you guys hear what Digital Foundry has to say on machine learning AI capabilities of the Xbox Series X console. Now, before I go, I just want to let you guys know that I'm still very excited for the PlayStation 5 Pro. 16.7 T-flops is rounded up to 17 T-flops of performance is crazy for a console. Now, this is more performance than the Xbox Series X that has 12 T-flops of performance. And if we're really taking notes here, the Xbox Series X 12 T-flops of performance has been getting outperformed by the PlayStation 5's 10 T-flops of performance. Many games, the PlayStation 5 outperforms the Xbox Series X. The latest game is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Digital Foundry confirmed that it was running better on the PlayStation 5. Now the PlayStation 5 Pro is coming out. How do you think games are going to look and run on that console compared to the Xbox Series X? So 16.7 T-flops is nothing to laugh at on an RDNA 3 GPU. Now, if we use the dual precision that AMD uses, it is 33 teraflops of performance. Even if we don't do that, 16.7 T-flops is a lot more than 12 T-flops of performance. And I gotta be really honest with you guys. I kind of agree with Sony here that it doesn't really matter because they're using PSSR. That's gonna free up so much resources on the PlayStation 5 Pro's GPU. They can run it from a lower resolution, turn up the ray tracing, turn up the settings in the game, and you're gonna get a 4K image on your screen running with higher quality settings, with ray tracing, with 60 FPS and above modes. Yes, there's a few games that I see that are gonna have a 30 FPS mode, and it kind of is what it is at that moment, but for the most part, all of the games, or I should say all of the games that have a 30 FPS mode on the PlayStation 5 will have a 60 FPS mode on the PlayStation 5 Pro. So that is extraordinary. Alan Wake 2 has ray tracing that is not capable on the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X. I see some people saying it's not going to be a big deal. Both of them, they look so similar. You're going to have to squint to see the difference. You're going to have to watch a Digital Foundry video to see the difference. With ray tracing on in a game at higher settings, I don't think you're going to need Digital Foundry to tell you that it looks better. I'm going to put it on the screen for you right now. Do you see the difference that ray tracing has added to Alan Wake 2? It looks like a completely different game. The clarity is just crazy over the non-ray trace version. So here's an example of something the PlayStation 5 Pro is doing that is not capable on the other generation of consoles, such as the Series X and PlayStation 5. Now that the console is out in the wild, there's reports that the PlayStation 5 Pro has a PlayStation 4 toggle within it to improve the performance of those games. I have Bloodborne on the screen right now, as you can see. This is the PlayStation 5 Pro mode. This is the PlayStation 5 mode. I'm going to slide it slowly so you guys can see the difference between the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro mode. So the PlayStation 5 Pro mode looks like it's running at a higher resolution. It looks a lot cleaner. So right off the bat, the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to give you a better looking and running quality game of your PlayStation 4 games. Just right off the bat, without any patches. We already know that there's over 88 PlayStation 5 titles that will have a PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced mode. So I just don't understand why people are so against the PlayStation 5 Pro. It's an option. They're not forcing you to get it. If you don't want the console, you can still play your games on the PlayStation 5. You can still play them on the Xbox Series X. However, if you want the latest technology, if you want machine learning AI upscaling that is not available on consoles, if you want higher resolution, better ray tracing, better frames per second, the PlayStation 5 Pro is the console to get. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, you're going to see a lot of comparisons come out and it's going to be clear as day. Digital Foundry and other outlets are going to have a lot of people in their feelings. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, for the next few years, the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to be the de facto console place for me to play my games. I'm going to be playing GTA 6 on the PlayStation 5 Pro. And I believe that when that game is closer to the launch, a lot of people are going to be buying the PlayStation 5 Pro for that game. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think about all of this. I think this is great news. Theoretically, the PlayStation 5 Pro is capable of higher T-flops if they use their dual issue. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think about all this. Personally, I think this is great for the PlayStation 5 Pro. I think that PSSR is going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting for the console. So that 16.7 teraflops of RDNA 3, possibly RDNA 4 performance is really going to allow them to set the settings higher and give us just a richer, better image quality with good performance. Now, I hope for the haters' sake that this is not full RDNA 4, because if this GPU has all the RDNA 4 features that are coming out next year with AMD's latest line of GPUs, then the performance of 6.7 teraflops is much greater than you can imagine. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section down below. We have 4 days away until the PlayStation 5 Pro launches. Of course, I'm going to have it on the channel and we're going to have all of our comparisons and I'm going to give you guys my initial reactions to the console. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Like I usually say, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.